totally brought mom out of bed, and she go pick up regardless. She thinking
Right.
something wrong. You know what I'm saying? She's like, "What's wrong?"
Right.
I'm like, "Nothing. Just me being a dummy, thinking that it's not midnight."
Man, listen, y'all. Like we laugh now, bro.
Word
Um,
up.
this interview. First of all, I apologize. I want to apologize to everybody that's watching. If you're watching this now or later, whenever you watch this, I want to apologize for missing last week. Um, we are going to reschedule that interview. Mike Trampy was a little under the weather and sick, so he's feeling better. So we're gonna reschedule that. But as you can see, we're back on schedule with another dope interview. This guy, I've met him technically via the internet, all about networking, all about definitely reaching out. But in 2016, when I came to Cleveland, like, he was one of the first cats that I met. Super humble, super dope. I've heard some of his stuff. He's not just a producer, he's also an artist, but he got some workout. Man, super dope to talk and just rap with you, bro. Cephas, the guy.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on, man. It's a
For
pleasure, man.
sure. Tell the people a little bit about you, man. Where you're from originally. It looks sunny right now, so clearly you're not in Cleveland anymore.
Yeah, so well, I'm currently in Fresno, Cali for the time being, but born and raised Cleveland boy for sure, for sure. CLE's in my blood all day. So yeah, just been at this now for the music deal for probably like 12, 13 years as far as like producing is concerned, but been a drummer since I was in diapers, man. So
Diapers.
yeah, straight up.
For real, bro. Like, that's what I hear a lot of people. I know for me, like, I started playing around with stuff when I was like 7 or 8. But nothing
It's in your
really.
blood, man. It's in
That's what
your blood, dude.
it's
It's
there.
yeah, straight up.
But just talk about, like, just tell the people a little bit about, like, what you do, because we
Hmm.
talk about production. This whole thing is about producers, and I know
Hmm.
you produce, but you also DJ. You're an artist, so talk a little bit about that, bro. Like, what is that like?
So yeah, so I kind of got my start actually DJing before producing. I had a radio show at Oberlin College back when like college radio was cool. I'm a little older, so college radio used to be kind of the way the underground got its exposure. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so I would be dragging my crates of vinyl records. Yes, I'm dating myself. Crates of
It's
vinyl records.
great. Okay.
Crates up to the radio station. Me and my homies, they would help me just get all the crates up there, and then we would spin, and then we would have MCs come out and just like freestyle over instrumentals. We would do live mixes, and it kind of got my foot in the game. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
I got saved around that time. I became like a born again Christian at that time, and kind of transitioned into spinning Christian hip hop music on my radio station. I actually had like the number one show on the station. It was Friday nights from 9 p.m. to midnight. Had a bunch of dope artists come through there. Whenever like hip hop acts came through Oberlin, which was often, believe it or not, like Talib Kweli, Mos Def, Common, Gangstar, stuff like that. We would have them up on the show and do interviews with them, and they would drop live freestyles for us. So it was really like on some Sway in the Morning type stuff, like, but on
Right.
an underground level, you know? And then when I switched it to Christian, they dropped me. They were like,
Uh,
when I went to go renew my show the next semester, they were like, we could put you on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. if you want. I was like, dang, y'all did me so dirty.
that's
But anyway, but that was cool though, because what it did is it pushed me out from being a DJ into being a producer.
mm,
Because one of my good homies was a drum and bass DJ who was active in the scene and was actually popping at the time, touring and all this kind of stuff. And he was like right a couple like dorms down from me, and he had Reason. You know what I'm saying? And this is when Reason just came out.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, snap, you can make beats on your laptop? Like, what? Because previous to that, it was like you had to have a big old
Gotta have,
studio to go
yeah.
to and connections to even get up in there and all that, you know. So I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I asked him, I said, dude, can I just like sit in the room and just watch you? He was
Mm,
like, by all means. And then by like a week later, he was annoyed with me just being in his room every night. And he was like, look, dude, I'm just going to put this on your laptop so you can just go do this in your own room. And I failed out of Oberlin because I learned Reason instead of going to class.
So
that's kind of how it all started. And
no, go ahead.
No, and then I started rapping and freestyling. So DJing, producing, rapping, and freestyling all kind of like came at once. But I think I got better at production quicker than I was rapping. So I kind of didn't take myself serious as a rapper and an MC. And I just was like, I think I'm a producer, and that's how it kind of started.
So at what point did you actually feel like that you could rap and like you actually want to release stuff? Because you actually got a little name for yourself as a rapper, you know.
I appreciate it, man. Dude, I'm trying to think, man. Do you know who Doc is? Do you know DJ Doc?
I do. I know DJ Doc.
So Doc is one of my good buddies from back in the day, and Doc heard me. I think I did a show like where I just rapped it with one of my boys, and Doc was there. And Doc was just real encouraging. He was like, man, like, you know, I'll record and stuff like that. You should record some stuff. You should come up and record with me. So he kind of convinced me. And then I said, well, I can't go record and not have material. So I wrote songs. And then I just went up there and we recorded my first EP at his spot, like mad long ago in Cleveland. And that's kind of how it came about. Yeah.
Have you done anything, and this is like left a little bit, but have you done anything with DJ Doc and Fresh Camp?
Yeah, well, kind of. Like I've supported them over the years, just coming to their events and stuff whenever I'm able to. And then the one year I contributed like a beat or whatever to one of his deals. Like, you know, all the kids rapping over stuff. Like the kids all make their own songs and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been dope to see that grow. He's been at it now for like 10 years. It's incredible.
For a minute.
Yeah, he's a dope dude.
So diving back into the production and the rapping, how do you balance that? Like now that you're putting out music more and you're producing as well, like what do you balance? And are you DJing as well? You know what I'm saying? So how
Dude, it's crazy. Like I don't want to lose my skills, because you know, you leave something and don't do it for a while, I don't think you'll ever lose it. I don't think I could ever lose producing or DJing or rapping. I think right now it'd just be like riding a bike, but you definitely could get rusty. You could definitely get rusty for sure. And so right now I'm just trying to like stay, like I'm keeping my stuff all in-house. So I'm going to be signing a record label contract here pretty soon. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Are you about to drop the sauce?
Well, I can't speak on it entirely, but I think you know who it's with. It's with one of my best friends, who's a Christian hip hop artist who has his own label. So I'm sure you probably know who I'm talking about, but like, so I've been producing for the camp, you know what I'm saying? Just like everybody on that label roster is all like building up projects right now. And so I'm just feeding them beats. And so that's keeping me fresh on the beat side. I'm so rusty at DJing. It's pathetic. I don't even know if I would even call myself a DJ at this point. I'm more of like a selector. I could spin a bunch of songs that sound really good together in sequence. And I've got some cuts and some scratches in me still, but I'm still rusty, and I have so much respect for the art form. I don't know if I would call myself a DJ. And then as far as rapping is concerned, like, you know, I'm still keeping up with that, trying to keep my pen sharp every week, just spending, you know, every week I try to do. Every day is not possible, but every week is definitely possible. So 2 or 3 days a week, I'm just writing, you know?
So talk a little bit about, just switching gears a little bit. We talk a lot about just connecting producers with artists on the show, you know, and you have a few decent placements. You just talked about getting records out to the label, you know, so talk about that relationship and like what that's like to produce and how an artist can get other producers, or how a producer can get other artists and get their beats to the artist.
I used to think back in the day that if you were a dope producer, that'd be enough. And it's so, yeah, and you're laughing at that because that's laughable, because it's not true. Like, you could be the dopest person on the planet, but like if you're a jerk, if you're pretentious, if you think you're better than everybody else, or or you're too maybe you're like super introverted, you know what I mean? Like you might have to come out of your comfort zone a little bit, because it really is about relationships. And so like, yeah, like my situation with the label, like I became friends with the guy who runs the label, and we didn't do music for 2 years.
That's good.
We were just homies. Like it was like on some real friendship stuff. But I also think God's got a lot to do with that. You know what I mean? Like I felt like it was like a God connection situation where I'd come out of a situation where I was at a church that was kind of like that became a corrupt church. And so I was kind of like, you know, down and out because of that, because I devoted a big portion of my life to helping this church or whatever. And so when they kind of got corrupt and stuff, it really kind of, you know, bummed me out, and I kind of was depressed. And the Lord sent him to me as just like a homie, as like a brother, to like walk with me through that trying time. And even though I did music, and even though he did music, and even though we totally respected each other in our crafts, and even though I was working with all the artists that he works with, we wanted it to be like organic. We didn't want it to feel forced. And then now look, you know what I'm saying? Now we're going to be on the same label and making just a boatload of music together moving forward. So I think, you know, just building relationships, being kind. And I've given so many beats away. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's criminal. So I think that was a big thing too.
In giving beats away, like talk about that, because a lot of producers are like afraid, like, oh no, I can't just send beats to people, because what if they steal it, or what if I don't get paid, or what if, like talk a little bit about that.
Well, I've had all those scenarios happen, so that's so I mean, you know, I think everybody, if they're going to be honest, has had that happen on one level or another. But I think it's an abundance mindset. You just got to understand that, like, you know, 90% of the beats you make are never going to see the light of day. You'll hear them, and your homies will hear them, and that's about it. And then the 10%, the cream of the crop, will go out, and you just can't be scared. You know what I mean? I mean, you're going to make mistakes. People are going to be shady, but at the exact same time, you're also going to find cool people. You're also going to find the right people. And if you give, you know, and if you work with them and don't sell yourself short, you know, I wouldn't say don't give somebody a whole album for free. But I mean, if you give somebody a song or two, you know, a beat or two, it's like building a bridge. You know what I mean? You're telling them like, yo, I believe in your craft. And also, like, I've got like a niche sound, you know what I mean? Like, and so I try to find artists that also share that niche sound.
Right.
You know, and so I'm not just giving beats out to just anybody. I'm giving beats out to a very select few, you know, group of dudes who have a kind of like, who, you know, real lyricists, like, you know what I mean? Now I like the modern stuff. Like, I really do. Like, I actually like trap, and I actually like some of mumble rap. Like, I like some of that stuff. Like, you'd be surprised. You'd probably think I hate all that stuff, but I actually like a lot of it. So there's no shade against it, but I just know better. I know better to send a rapper like that or an MC like that my beat, because he would listen to it and be like, well, I don't even know what to do with this.
It's dope. It sounds good, but
yeah, but you know, it'd be like sending like Future, like a beat that you would send to Nas.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't send Nas a beat that you would send to Future. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's like, I just tried to find artists who I felt like would you know, complement my music, and my music would complement theirs. And typically, if you do that well enough, often enough, then the people hear it and they go, oh yeah, this is my flavor. You know, it's a lot easier when you're sending, you know, you're not just blasting beats out to like 100 different random artists. Like, no, like, try to like sift through those 100 artists and find cats that you think really match what you're doing. And that, because not everybody's going to listen to your stuff when you send it to them, but the few that do, if your style matches with theirs, the likelihood and the chance of them picking up on it, liking it, and wanting to use it's much higher.
That's good.
So, yeah.
Talk a little bit about, for you being a Christian, do you solely focus on Christian artists, or are you branching out? Are you down to produce for other artists that aren't Christian? Like, talk a little bit about that and your reason why.
That's a good question, man. So my convictions, my convictions are my convictions, and I don't try to like, I just want to preface this before I say what I say. I don't expect everybody to look at it the same way I look at it, because you know who S1 is, right?
Mm-hmm.
S1, the producer from Texas. He helped co-produce Power for Kanye, and he used to be in a group with Illmind, who we all know who Illmind is. And S1's a Christian, man. He's saved, like for real, and he works with Kanye, he works with Beyonce, he works with all these crazy stars, and then also a lot of really dope underground secular artists too. And he's letting his light shine in that way, and I think God's graced him for that. For me, I think because I'm kind of leaning now towards being an artist that's actually self-producing and putting my own stuff out there, and since my message is overtly Christian, I think it would be confusing probably for my fan base if I were to work closely with artists whose message is extremely, extremely different and maybe even completely opposed to what I'm sharing in my music.
Right.
And so I've kept it now to at the point where I think I'll probably only work with Christian artists unless there's a relationship built there, and I feel like God wants me to, work with this particular person, and like I said, there's a relationship, and so there's actually interaction going on, and maybe a chance for ministry with that person, and the music is to be building that bridge for that opportunity. So when we look at like Lecrae or something working with secular artists, and I don't know how this really goes because I'm not in those conversations, but I think oftentimes there is a relationship, and so Lecrae is like building that bridge and like getting a chance to actually be with that person and minister to that person. It's not just them throwing a song together to make it pop. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I'm real mindful about that. When I was younger, dude, I was in a production duo with this dude named Optics, and Optics is produced for KRS-One, Freeway, Cameron, all these dudes, and Talib Kweli, Pharaoh Monch, just like all these like super, super dope secular MCs. And before he produced for all those cats, we were in Kent State together, just like he was like, we were just literally like dorm room producers, and he was like, yo, let's go up to New York City, man, and be the A team. We were gonna call ourselves the A team, and then we were gonna just make it go, because he had all these industry connections in New York City. So, and I prayed about it, and I didn't feel like the Lord, said to do it. So at that point, I kind of bowed out. And I think at that point, I kind of decided I'm probably just going to stick with Christian artists.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've probably missed a bunch of big bags as a result of that. But I sleep well.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's so good. And it's interesting because there's different people that have different opinions with it. I think about even myself as a Christian in general, like I'm big on relationships, but I also for me, it's music, you know what I'm saying? And my beats are a footway in the door to actually have conversations with these artists, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times maybe I can't have a conversation, but they know my name, and 9 times out of 10, if they go find me, they're going to find, my message, they're going to find who I am. But on the flip side, like I don't knock anybody that, your convictions are your convictions. And if that's the way you go, like I think about the people that I interview on here. Like I've interviewed TNT, who's produced for Youngboy. He's produced for Polo G, Lil TJ. So many people. I've interviewed Lo-Fi, which was a part of my Internet Money. He produced for Joe Biden and them just recently. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many people, and it's like everybody has their own convictions. But I just think this is a way that it's like, hey, like this is your message. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you being an artist, I think that's so cool and so dope that you're sticking to your stuff. A lot of people I see, they're wavering. It's like, oh, I'll be an artist and then I'll separate myself and I'll still produce to actually chase the bag. You know what I'm saying? But your integrity speaks a lot to that. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I appreciate that, man. I mean, at the same time, though, I don't want to. But everybody's calling is different. It'd be like, we're getting a little spiritual with the talk now, but a pastor's not an evangelist.
Right.
An evangelist is not a pastor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they got different roles, different. So if the pastor's out there judging an evangelist based off of a pastor's calling, he's going to wonder, well, why isn't the evangelist in church so much? Why is he always out in the streets talking to the lost people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the evangelist just turn around like, why are you always stuck up in that church?
Yep.
You know, and the
Like,
funny thing is they're both being used by God.
yeah.
Neither one of them's wrong.
Right.
They're operating in different callings, and and your calling's different than mine. So like, I think when I was younger, I was much more like, you've got to go all in on ministry. I was just so hardcore. And I've definitely lightened up as I've gotten older, and now I've realized like, no, like, dude, like we all have different callings. It's okay. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay for me to do what I feel God's called me to do, and it's okay for you. And neither one of us are wrong. You know what I mean? Like.
And it's a perspective shift. You know what I'm saying? Because once you start to look at it from God's lens and not the way we think God looks at it, it's like,
Facts.
oh, no,
Big facts.
God is okay with this because he created us to do this. This was his purpose for our lives. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I think that's super cool. That's super dope.
But I will preface this though. If I wasn't an artist, I might actually work with secular artists as a producer.
Yeah. No, but
straight up.
But that's real. You know what I'm saying? But it speaks to what you said. Like you said, hey, I'm doing this, you know, I'm going to work with Christians because it's like, hey, it might be confusion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
That's not of God. So if we're going to create confusion, we know that it's not in God's will for us to do it. So,
yes, absolutely. Well said.
Man, super dope. So talk to us about, you know, just closing up, man. Just, you know, I know you got a lot going on. You in Cali, in the beautiful sunny Cali, which I see it's sunny there. It's dark here.
I don't know how beautiful it is here, dude, or if it's smoky. The whole state's on fire, bro. I'm like inhaling ass as I'm out here doing this interview, man. I mean, it is nice, but it's on fire, bro, for real.
Really? Yeah. So yes. I got a producer that's on a part of my camp that I'm building. And he's from Portland. And he was like, I was like, dude, get outside. He was like, dude, look outside. You want me to go outside now? Like, yeah, be good. Be good. Just stay in the house. Cook some more. But man. Just talk about what's next for you, man. You talked about the label. You talked about, you know, all that stuff. What's next for Cephas?
Yeah, man. Well, I've got a full-length album coming, or mixtape coming out on the beginning of November. And then we'll be announcing the label signing at that point, and it'll be a 4-project deal.
Yeah.
So we've got we're just trying to roll out basically 4 projects in the next 2 years is the goal. So yep. So this first one is a mixtape because it's like featuring like other producers and stuff like that. And then the next one, the second record, is going to be all self-produced, mainly self-produced. And the third record's 100%. And then the fourth record will be 100% self-produced.
That's dope.
So I'm like I'm starting off with multiple producers and then moving to completely, you know, all produced by me projects.
Okay.
So
how could anybody get records to you if you're looking for, you know, if they want to?
Yeah, definitely.
To you or something like that.
IG probably the best spot. Just a simple DM. Straight up. Hit those DMs, man.
Go and slide right in the DM, you know.
Slide in those DMs. Man. Go ahead, shoot your shot.
So last few questions, bro. So the one question I definitely have is like, who would you want to collab with all time, dead or alive, producer wise, and why?
Oh, we going there, huh? Daggone, bro. So you talking about? Oh man, are we talking about me as a producer? Like I'd like to co-produce with somebody, or as like an artist MC rock over one of their beats?
I'll say either one. Either one, whichever one you want to go with. I was thinking, so I'll tell you, I was saying co-produce, but as you're an artist, I mean, let's go there. So whichever one you want to go with.
Oh, what the heck, man! There's so many good, like there's just so many next level producers, man. I mean, Dilla would have to be on that list. I mean, Dilla. I mean, could you imagine getting a beat from Dilla, an original beat from Dilla? What the heck?
What?
I can't really think of any more of a hip hop head's fantasy than that.
That's next level.
Yeah, dog. I would love that. Just Blaze. I think Just Blaze is so dope. There's a dude from the West Coast. He's underground. His name is Gas Lamp Killer.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever heard of him before, but he's really like a big mover and shaker in the LA beat scene.
Okay.
And he's super OG, and he's considered to be like the Jimi Hendrix of like production. Like
Okay.
he's like a big hippie, you know what I'm saying? And he samples a lot of like psychedelic records. And hold on, I think I just disappeared there for a second. He samples a lot of psychedelic records from the 60s and the 70s, and he incorporates like live musicians a lot, and he's just really fresh. He's in the same, he's like clicked up with Flying Lotus, if you know who Flying Lotus is.
Yep. I know Flying Lotus is.
So he's kind of like in that kind of camp. So I really would love to get a beat from him. That would be sick.
Yeah.
He's a little less known, but I just love him a lot. And then man, DJ Premier.
Yeah, Premier. Premier.
Primo beat, dude. I mean, are you serious? If I got laced by Primo, that would be the craziest day ever. Yeah.
Goals, bro. Those are goals.
Goals.
So then, second to last question: what is the biggest accolade that you feel like you had your whole career? Whether it's producing, whether it's artist, whether it's DJing, what's the biggest level that you feel like you've reached, or biggest accolade, biggest thing that you were like, this is a great accomplishment, best work?
I would, man. Well, I really enjoyed the songs I've done with my boy Bumps Inf. I really like the songs, like just the quality of the songs. I really like how they came out and stuff. But I would say like biggest, like most memorable moment, I don't know, maybe like DJing with NF was pretty cool. That was like probably the biggest crowd I've ever been in front of and rocked in front of. And it was interesting. He's not necessarily my style of music, but that was pretty cool. And then there was Love is Red conference every year. It's like this big youth conference, and got a chance to be like a headlining DJ for that. And had no idea how the kids were going to receive it. A bunch of white suburban kids, and they loved it. And I was just like, what? Okay, wow, these kids are really rocking with like my super underground style of music on this big stage. I should be playing like trance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I should be playing like dun 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 dun. Like, that's what I should be playing, but I played all this underground stuff and they went crazy. I was like, what? So that was like the biggest accomplishment for me, because I felt like I took a bunch of mainstream white kids and introduced them to a bunch of underground music and got them hip. So that was a big accomplishment.
That's good. That's probably the biggest one, man. Like that's dope.
Yeah.
So ending off, man, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, sorry. I just want to say, so the only reason I say that is because kids were coming up to me after the joint, being like, "What was that? What was that? And what was the third song you played? And what was the fourth song you played?" And that was so cool. I was like, they really wanted to know.
Not just like, hey, like this song that I heard with you had this lyric. No, like what was the third and fourth and fifth? And
I was blown away by that. I was like, yeah, man, that's cool. That made me feel cool, man. I like that.
That's dope, man. So ending off, man, and this doesn't even just have to be for producers, just in general. Somebody coming up, somebody trying to, our main demographic for this show is producers, but there's everybody watching this. What advice would you give them, in the time that we're in, the business, the industry, just what advice? And it's wide open, so whatever is on your heart to share. What would you give?
The approach I took, for better or for worse, but I'm glad I took it and I don't regret it, was I wanted to form my own team and build an in-house squad. And that takes a long time to do, years, because people have to trust you artistically, and then you have to trust them artistically, and you have to continue to trust them artistically over and over. Until you build an artistic trust with them. But once that artistic trust is built, you can be much stronger as a tight team. I don't spread myself too thin. I don't go throwing beats around to hundreds of artists. I just found a few artists who I felt like I could hunker down with, and I began producing for them, and that's paid off in spades.
That's good.
So find your people. Find your people. It might take a while. You might have to sift through a bunch of people that aren't your people to get to your people, but once you find your people, make sure that relationship and that bond is strong, and then get to work with them, get busy with them, start creating with them. And if you can have like a team of people, a small team that can do everything that you need done, you know, like a mix engineer, a mastering engineer, a cinematographer, a couple of photographers, you know, somebody who is good with marketing, you know what I'm saying? A homie that's good with marketing. And if you can assemble that team together and work within that team, I think your art probably has the best chance of being the best it can be. And I think it'll reach farther than if you were just trying to go it alone.
That's good. That's so good, man. Let the people know how they can find you, where they can check you out, you know, how they can connect with you.
For sure. So it's a Cephas official on all platforms. So CEPHAS official. So on Instagram, on Facebook, and then the website is just We Will Go with dashes in between. So we-will-go.com. And that's the Go Records website where you can find all my stuff. And then on Spotify, just Cephas, search Cephas, and I'll pop right up.
Super dope, bro. Man, super.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you for tapping in with us. Welcome to the producer spot. You're part of the family now.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, dog. This was awesome, dude.
Anytime you want to jump back on, if you want to, you see I'm interviewing somebody, hit me. I'm not going to tell you that. I'll definitely say, yeah, just come on. But if you see I'm interviewing somebody you got questions for, you're part of the family now. So
I appreciate it, brother.
With that being said, make sure y'all tap into the producer spot on Instagram. We are still doing the follower giveaway. So once we reach 100 followers, or 500 followers, 500 followers, we will be giving away a melody pack / sample kit from myself, my team, as well as the 10 and Lo-Fi, where we join together and we'll be dropping something big. So definitely tap in with us there. Just stay connected. Next week we'll be interviewing another Cleveland native. We got Matlock. He's produced for Lil Wayne. He's produced for Trina and some other people. So it's super dope. Excited for that. Excited for this. I'm excited for have interviews scheduled to the rest of the year. So y'all be tapped in. Stay tuned. Y'all know what we do this for, man. You know to collaborate, because collaboration thrives creativity, and always create because you're created by the creator.